Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Closter, the director of the UW-Platteville Real Estate Foundation, and it's my honor to have you here today to celebrate the grand opening of Rountree Commons. I want to recognize some of our distinguished guests. Today we have State Senator Dale Schultz, State Representative Travis Tranel, Mr. Jeffrey Bartell of the UW System Board of Regents, and Mr. David Miller from UW System. Next to me are today's speakers, Mr. Mike Dalecki, the Common Council President from the City of Platteville, Mr. John Bolt, President of the UW-Platteville Foundation, Mr. Jerry Franke, President of UW-Platteville Real Estate Foundation, Linda Mulray-Bowden, Interim Director of Residence Life, and UW-Platteville Chancellor Dennis Shields. Also in the audience today are Dominic Barraclaw, the Real Estate Foundation Board Secretary and Treasurer, Vice Chancellor for Administrative Services, Rob Kramer, Provost Mitty Nimox Dean Herder, Joanne Wilson, Interim Assistant Chancellor for Student Affairs, Christina Curis, Special Assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Administrative Services, Mr. Tom Baker, and Mr. Mike Krolchek, Chairman and Vice President of C.D. Smith, Lissa Oker, Architect, and Michelle Scanley, Designer from HGA, and Mr. Larry Berkey, the City Manager. Just over 13 months ago, we stood in this spot to break ground and announce that a new residence hall would be open in August of 2012. Now, I don't know how many believed us, but we're here today to celebrate that accomplishment. Thanks, David. Rountree Commons is not just a building, it's a work of art that would not have been possible without over 100 dedicated workers who practiced their art of construction, plumbing, drywall, painting, masonry, electrical, ironwork, and landscaping. I was hoping to have today some of the people that worked on this building here, but unfortunately, I think we've got them working on our next project up the street. But I want to recognize all of their wonderful talents in providing us with this magnificent building, and I think we should provide a round of applause to them, loud enough so they can hear it over on the job site. In a more traditional sense, we wanted this to really be a home, and not only with the masterfully applied finishes, the vibrant colors chosen by architect Lissa Oker and designer Michelle Scanley, but art done by University of Wisconsin-Platteville students. Professor Bruce Hoddle was chosen by Dr. Fairchild to bring this building to life with 8 magnificent pieces, both inside and outside. Bruce chose and directed the students as they worked on the pieces. The students were given very basic parameters and came up with some wonderful ideas that will be enjoyed for years to come. Most of the artists have graduated and moved on, but their works will inspire our young pioneers forever. We also had the opportunity to pay tribute to 2 young ladies who will forever be part of Rountree Commons. Christine Labor, daughter of Bill and Maureen Labor, who are here with us today, owned a portion of the land that we now occupy. Christine was a senior at Platteville High School when she was killed in an auto accident in 2005. Her memory will live on in the convenience store inside this building, which is known as Christine's Cafe. One of the artists who did our largest painting, Katie Binning, was an artist and an athlete here at UW-Platteville. Katie, who loved art, had just graduated and was finishing her student teaching at Wisconsin Heights High School. Katie would never be able to live her dream, as she was also taken from us in a tragic car accident. Her painting will be here to inspire and remind our residents that life is fragile, but it must be lived with passion. There are many people to thank here today. The entire C.D. Smith team, along with the companies that contributed to building this building, including IIW engineers, whose UW-Platteville graduate, Lauren Ray, truly burned the midnight oil to make sure that the plans for this structure were completed. Troy and Noodles, two carpenters from C.D. Smith, who argued over a countertop in the convenience store being 1/8 of an inch off. Mike from Faith Technologies, who met every one of the numerous changes with a smile and the words, "No problem." And Ryan, who kept the streets and the job site clean. These are just a few of the people who made this vision and dream of others become a reality. Finally, I want to single out two gentlemen in particular whom I've worked very closely with over the past year: the project manager, Corey Henschel, and Superintendent Dan Casper. Without the dedication, knowledge, and professionalism of these two men, this building would not be standing here ready for today's celebration. Lastly, I'd like to thank Katie Fryer, event coordinator for the Alumni Office, for helping with this ceremony. I'd like to thank the Capstone management crew, the resident director, Trapper Mitchell, and all the RAs, and all of the others who truly worked together to make this day of celebration possible. I'd like now to introduce the president of the Platteville Common Council, Mr. Mike Dalecki, to share with us the city's perspective on this project. Mike?
What a great day. It's been a long time coming. When we started this process a year and a half ago, we faced an uphill battle trying to find out if we could make this partnership work. It took a city council with the courage to examine our problems and think outside the box a little bit in finding a new way to deal with them. And it took a partner in the university who saw their growth not as something independent of the city, but rather as something that could create synergies that were advantageous to both the town and the gown. As most know, university growth has had the side effect of student tenants replacing families in the more affordable housing in Platteville. This has resulted in public school enrollments which are in decline and which has strained the school district budget as a result. Rountree Commons is opening up Platteville housing again to families with children and to UWP faculty and staff. In an unprecedented display of cooperation and teamwork among the university, the Real Estate Foundation, and the Platteville City Council, we are addressing the problems that university expansion entails. Growth always brings problems, but it also brings opportunities. It is this partnership that allows the opportunities to become reality. Not only are we addressing severe housing issues in the city of Platteville, the facility whose opening we celebrate today will provide over $100,000 per year to the city's budget, badly needed funding in a time of frugality and state budget cuts. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the other members of the Platteville Common Council who were equally as part of this, as well as City Manager Larry Berkey. Those city council members had the vision and the courage to see what could be, and they didn't turn away from it. Those members are Steve Becker, Eileen Nichols, Patrice Steiner, Barb Dawes, Dick Bonin, John Miller, and Ken Killian. I've said this many times, there are 4,000 communities across the United States that would love to have our problems here in Platteville and our opportunities. They should be so lucky. I would like to salute the university, the Real Estate Foundation, and the City of Platteville as they continue a partnership That has limits only in the imagination of those who are its participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And I do want to echo Mike's comments about the city council. Before we actually started digging here, there were a lot of work done behind the scenes, many city council meetings, a lot of things going on in order to get the approvals from the city to proceed with this project. I'd like now to introduce our next speaker, Mr. John Bolt, UW-Platteville class of 1975. John is currently the chair of the UW-Platteville Foundation and the president and CEO of Clark Dietz Engineers. John's going to be talking about the vision and effort by the Platteville Foundation to create the Real Estate Foundation to pursue this project.
Mr. Closer only got one thing wrong so far. I was a 76 graduate, and he was making me older than I am. I'm also a Platteville native, which brings another perspective to what we've been doing here. And today I'd like to give you some background on how this beautiful building came about from the organizational standpoint. Shortly after Chancellor Shields arrived, it was determined to, as Mike had pointed out, the growth of the university was putting campus or student housing throughout the city. And to bring those students back on campus, because it has been proven that they do better if they're closer to the campus and on campus. So his vision was to bring student housing back on campus. And we felt we could proceed with this in a time frame that we needed to do it in a time frame that was going to, unfortunately, have to stay out of the state process. Excuse me, gentlemen. But the issue was this was going to have to be done relatively quickly to get this process. There are already real estate foundations in place in Green Bay and University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. We had looked at this before. We put this to, we felt that a real estate foundation had the capacity to deliver the product we needed. And if everything fell, as Bill pointed out, fell into place, we could do it in the time frame desired, which was August of this year where we stand today. There were two big tasks ahead of us with the less than 2 years to form a real estate foundation, find a developer to work with, design and build a building, put it all in place, the agreements necessary to operate the building. The foundation board gave final approval in November of 2010 for the real estate foundation. Relying on many of the documents we had used, we tried not to recreate the wheel on this. We used the Milwaukee Real Estate Foundation as a foundation, and we set up the Real Estate Foundation as another nonprofit to achieve, not only achieve the Chancellor Shields' desire for on-campus housing, but to assist the foundation in managing properties that we get through donations from time to time that by our charter we cannot hang on to or make money off of. So this is another vehicle to help assist the foundation also. By mid-December of 2011, all the necessary documents had been filed to form the Real Estate Foundation. And then we did probably one of the most important things. We hired Bill Closter. And I think everybody who's been through this, Bill has, from my perspective, and I think from Jerry's and Dominic's, Bill has taken care of all the details. We kind of sit at a different level and say, yeah, you know, and we were able to say, let Bill take care of it. So I think that was very important. The request for qualifications was issued. We received responses from 9 different project teams, over 20 different companies were narrowed down and accepted in March of 2011. C.D. Smith of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin was selected as developer. Their proposal was to provide a building on this site of approximately 600 beds that was going to be self-funded and ready for students no later than August 15th of 2012. So I think we made that. before we could actually begin the construction, the necessary approval from the city. And I have to reiterate what Mike said, working together between the university, the city, the real estate foundation, and the C.D. Smith project team actually made this all happen. And I think it was a great example of collaboration that between the university, their projects, and the city can all work together to make these type of things happen. Over the next few months, we resolved all the issues, and in late June, final approval was attained by the city. And on June 30th, after forming a real estate foundation in January, on June 30th of 2011, we broke ground and construction began on July 5th. In just under 13 months, we received an occupancy permit on August 11th, and the first students arrived. Tomorrow, we're expecting well over 400 students to arrive to make Rountree Commons their home for the upcoming academic year. The Real Estate Foundation sincerely hopes, and the foundation, that the students who live here and those who will work in the building enjoy their experience. We wish them all the great success in their academic endeavors and hope that living here will contribute to their pioneer experience. Thank you, and it's a great day to be a pioneer.
Thank you, John. I see our next speaker's chomping at the bit. Our next speaker really took on a task. I'm not sure anyone told him what he was going to get into, but he had to take over a brand new organization with a director that was new to this game, keep it on track, keep it focused, and accomplish the mission at hand. Jerry Franke, the president of the Real Estate Foundation, is a 1973 graduate of UW-Platteville, and he's the current president of Wispark Real Estate Development Company in Milwaukee. Jerry?
John was absolutely right when he talked about what a detail-oriented guy Bill is. He went right down to writing out our speeches for us. Seriously, I also want to thank you for holding this event before the NFL season starts, because after the first game, I don't wear blue and orange. So, being a true Packer fan, is Parker an RA on the second floor out there? Oh, okay. I just wanted to see what the world's best RA looked like. I was walking around and I noticed. Did you write that yourself, or did you actually have a fan? I actually bring that up because my heritage with the housing community at Platteville goes back a long, long way. I was a freshman at McGregor in 1969. Don Bauer was the resident director. Steve Zilke, was the housing administrator. And late in my freshman year, they met with me one day and said, look, we want to make you one of the first sophomore RAs because we want to get you on our side rather than have you on the dark side for too long. So I really enjoyed it. I lived in a dormitory, or residence halls are now called, for 4 years. I couldn't envision living anywhere else but in that kind of environment. You mean somebody came in and cleaned our showers and our toilets for us? I didn't have to depend on 3 other guys. So I do appreciate what's happened here. And then I spent my first year as an RA at Warner Hall and completed that. And then the following year, wow, we really got dynamic. We opened Porter Hall, which was the first co-ed dormitory on that campus. And in my junior and senior years were spent down there. And Parker, nobody ever called me the world's best RA. I also have, I will take credit or blame because there was even a little bit of controversy I won't bring up, but I was a geography student and an economics major, and to that end, I spent a lot of my time schlepping from the central part of the campus to the old Rountree Hall. And in fact, in my den, hanging above it, is a great rendering done by a UW-Platteville artist of Rountree Hall. So I'm very happy that that name is going to continue to be a very vital part of this campus. Chancellor Shields asked me to be part of this, and I can honestly tell you that I like to see things change. And I would not have gotten involved if we weren't going to do this differently. I also understand that there are public policies, public benefits, public concerns that have to be dealt with anytime you're developing or building a government-related facility. I hope that we were able to take the best practices of both the private real estate sector development, which we kept trying to infusing the process as often as we can, and yet protected the things that the state has to be concerned with when it comes to facilities associated with a state institution as fine as UW-Platteville. So we think that we've got a great product to show here. I can't believe we're starting a second one already. I look forward to it moving even quicker and more expeditiously than this one. I would also say that there will be a few bugs. Please be patient. Probably the most challenging one is that students today, we were lucky, by the way, my sophomore year, we had phones installed in our rooms for the first time ever. Prior to that, you had to go down the hall and use a pay phone. So there's been a lot of changes. Obviously, the use of wireless technology makes a tremendous impact on the design and construction of a building. We have a few bugs to work out there. Parents and students, by the middle of September, those will be history. So anyway, one more time, Bill Closter, thank you. It's been a joy to work with you on this project. Look forward to working with you more. Chancellor Shields, thank you for bringing initiative and intuition and innovation to this process. It's very much needed as we face dwindling resources. So thank you. Enjoy your new residence hall.
Thank you very much, Jerry. As interim director, Linda Mulray-Bowden has overall responsibility for the management of the residence hall community, over 3,300 students. That includes 11 halls. It also includes management of fiscal resources, supervision of personnel, programmatic development, administration of room assignments, development and implementation of policies and procedures, and facilities management. Our next speaker, Linda Mulray-Bowden.
Well, thank you. It is my pleasure to represent the Department of Residence Life and our outstanding staff team, many who are here today, on this wonderful day for our entire campus. We are very excited to partner with the UW-Platteville Real Estate Foundation and Capstone On-Campus Management as we open this beautiful building to 620 of our students, and we're thrilled to welcome Rountree Commons to our residence hall communities. The Department of Residence Life embraces the opportunity to impact the whole student as we work to create inclusive living and learning communities that support the mission of our entire university. We recognize our role in the retention of UW-Platteville students as they strive to become integral and contributing members of a global community upon their graduation. With the assistance of the excellent Rountree Commons professional and student staff, we know our Rountree Commons residents will be great neighbors who will contribute to the greater good of the Platteville community while striving to reach their long-term goals. We are very much looking forward to filling this beautiful building this weekend and seeing the energy and activity all of those students will bring to our Platteville community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. Our final speaker today is a man who saw the need and took action. Actually, for our groundbreaking last spring, I wanted to position a bulldozer with him at the controls and the rest of us frantically shoveling to keep up pace. Without the courage, guidance, and support of Chancellor Shields, this project never would have moved forward. Chancellor Dennis Shields.
Good morning. Good morning. There we go. I have a lot of stories, and I'll tell you that, as I've said many times, it's a dangerous thing to give a lawyer a captive audience. I will try to keep it not too long, but I have a lot of memories about this process. I think the first person I ever told that we had this in the works was Senator Dale Schultz. And I sat down to lunch with him. It was the first time after my appointment as chancellor that I sat down with him. And he said, the state doesn't have any money. We can't build a residence hall. Why are you guys always coming at us for money? And then he stopped to take a bite of a sandwich, and I said, we're not going to ask you for any money. And to his credit, he stopped and said, okay, tell me about that. Okay, David Miller was an extraordinary asset for the UW system. It took a little convincing of him, maybe a month or two, to show that we were serious about this. And I think what happened with David is that he realized we were going to figure out a way to do this one way or the other, and that it was better for him to be involved in helping us do it right than to fight us every step of the way. Regent Bartel, you know, your wisdom and willingness to help us figure out how to get this done, very much appreciated. It is an amazing thing that we sit down here, we have this, you know, we're just Platteville. And suddenly we have Platteville out there pounding on doors, chasing, you know, legislators around, you know, pulling the coattail of regents, saying, no, we're not going to be satisfied with where we are. We're going to move forward. It is a real tribute to these folks that despite my obnoxiousness, they bought into it. I know Representative Tranel carried a lot of water in talking with a number of people to help make this happen who were a little nervous about where we were going. It is an amazing thing that this came together in this way. I'm a small town Iowa guy, and I have these values of loyalty, keeping your word, being committed to things. And so I have to give special mention to Tom Baker and his team at C.D. Smith. They jumped in with both feet to help with this project before there was any clear sign that it was going to happen. That takes courage, it takes vision, it takes the willingness to take a risk and get behind this. And we had a lot of conditions attached to the kind of partner we wanted. I told them I wanted local labor hired to the extent possible. I wanted local vendors hired to the extent possible. I didn't want out-of-state companies coming in unless they were the best people to come on board. They just nodded and said, okay, okay, and they executed. And I wanted to do all of that and be able to move in today. They have made a remarkable contribution to this effort, and we are in their debt. I also wanted to give a second round of thanks to the Real Estate Foundation Board. I don't think any of them probably understood how much time and energy it was going to take. It's not like the typical nonprofit board where you meet once in a while and you get to mouth off about a few things and make sure things are going. It was a day-by-day thing. We called on them because each of them had expertise in development, in building, and in student affairs. They kept us on the straight and narrow. They adhered to their fiduciary responsibility, but they never wavered in their support for this thing moving forward. That Jerry Franke, John Bolt, and Dominic Bearclaw deserve our thanks too today. And finally, the community of Platteville. And in that I include the city council, the council president, Mike Galecki, the Chamber of Commerce. I see Kathy Kopp and Tom Sigworth out there, and innumerable other people in the community that this was a different sort of effort. It was a leap of faith on their part. I think all of them had to dodge their share of arrows to make sure that this project moved forward. And we're very appreciative of that. And the last thing I'm going to do before I close is we're going to deal with the parking. Okay? But all of this that you see here today, the completion of this project, is just further evidence of why every day is a great day to be a pioneer. Thank you.
And now the grand moment that everybody's been waiting for. I'm going to ask our speakers to come forward here. I'm going to pull the magic scissors out. I'd like Chancellor, if you, Linda, Mike, and Jerry operate the scissors. John and I will try to hold the ribbon. I don't want you to scratch the paint. Trapper, we got our students. Okay. Thank you all for attending and welcome to Rountree Commons.